DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's AMA with DeFi Kingdoms. We're going to kick things off today and find out how everyone is doing. So, first and foremost, Dreamer, how are you doing today?
Oh man, that's a loaded question, Bolon. I don't know what to say. I'm doing good. I'm tired. Woke up a little bit ago and excited to be here in the AMA and see all the questions and watch Hubert do its thing and celebrate here from the sidelines. That's how I'm doing.
Very nice. Glad to have you here with us. Sunbear, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm getting ready to represent the DFK project and community out in London. So getting ready for that upcoming adventure. I'm studying the language of English to prepare myself. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, you are effectively a Florida man at this point, and if there's one thing that we've established in these AMAs, it's that Floridians can't speak English. So
exactly. No, I'm really diving into the British swear words. You know, I really want to fit in. So
there you go. Very nice. Getting some of the Queen's English going on, or I guess it's the King's English now. I don't know. Whoever's English.
I haven't gotten to that part. I'll let you know.
Hubert, how are you doing today, sir? And are you ready to have a barrage of questions?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm ready. And I'm also ready to hear Sunbear start calling everyone winkers. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, man. And last but not least, Winston, how are you doing today? And who are you fighting, for those of us that can't read your screen? We cannot hear you, and there's a weird static. I think your audio input might be set to the wrong device.
Going on?
Oh, there we go.
But it's better now, right?
Yep.
Could you tell that I was doing a goofy English accent?
No, that did not come through in the picture, unfortunately.
Maybe that's for the best. I've got a naughty little dog in here, and she's barking a little bit, so I'm going to try to work through that. Today I am fighting San Andreas. We always have a Andres. Yeah, San Andreas. That's what it is. Okay. And we're doing a level 10 and a level 15 bout, and I'm using a wizard in one of them, and I think he's using a wizard in one of them too. Yeah, and that's what's going on with me. I'm feeling good. Just got a naughty dog in here that will not behave herself. So I'm gonna hand it back over to you, Bolon.
Awesome. Excited to watch these matches. There is still time, though not much, to sponsor and vote on the first one. A little bit more time to sponsor and vote on the second one. And do not forget, of course, that there will be the sponsor giveaway as well. So get in there, get voting, get sponsoring, and let's have a good time watching these fights while we learn some things from mostly Hubert, because it's an AMA. Let's see, a few other updates that we are going to do, and then we will get into some questions. Sunbear, speaking of you learning English, that's coming up quickly. Where are you going to be next week?
Well, crikey, I'm going to be in London. No, they actually do it in both places, I learned.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yep. I thought the same thing, but I don't think I'm going to be able to say it without an Australian accent. I'll sound like Crocodile Dundee or something. Avalanche Summit's happening this coming week. So obviously our major partner, Avalanche, excited to be there to support them and connect with lots of games there. They've got a lot of influences working with them. One of the main goals there is to get heroes in their wallets and get them playing, get them streaming, and really familiar with the game. And so that's a major effort. We're actually going to be Pinecone and myself will be there representing We'll be doing demos all day Wednesday, the 21st, and of course, be around in all the other events the other 2 days. But I'm really trying to, show people how incredible this game has become. So that's happening, and hope if you're there, please come and see us. Please come and have some fun, and help us spread the good word.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I am pretty jealous. The venue looks pretty sick. You're gonna be hanging out in a castle.
Yeah,
Castles are awesome.
hang out in castles, stuff like that. It's one of the things I do.
Is it really the Bridgerton place? Do we know? Does anybody even know what Bridgerton is?
Maybe you should talk about it, because I think that's something you love, right, Dreamer?
So yeah, it's a great show. I'm not scared to say it. Go to Netflix and watch Bridgerton. They're freaking using the castle from one of the seasons. It's gonna be awesome, and I'm sad I'm not there. I am really excited about the activation though, because in Argentina we had an opportunity to set up a couple of stations for, I don't know, like 4 hours, and that 4 hours went by really quick. We as in Sunburn and myself both had influencers coming, but it wasn't as organized. It was kind of like that day. The Dream and Coop and others were kind of like funneling people down, and then we were doing kind of a shooting from the hip demos and try to do some follow-ups. We got a lot of good feedback. Patrols is one thing that came from that feedback there, as well as the plan to work with YGG at the summit that was coming after. But this time, using our vouchers to load up some of these guys' wallets, which essentially just give them purchasing power to buy heroes and things from all of you guys, and having them there in person for an amount of time on the floor where others can actually observe the demo happening. I think it's going to be really effective. We'll hopefully get some organic content, or trying to work with Arena as well, which is kind of a up and coming tool in the ecosystem that a lot of people are using. I think some of our community is streaming on there as well. So I think with the combination of Avalanche's work to bring influencers to the summit, us showing up for demo, and getting wallets beforehand to have them loaded up with some scheduled demos that aren't as like shoot from the hippie, could be pretty cool to get additional feedback, to get more awareness of the game from folks with influence who are looking to make content on the summit. So the goal is to get some guerrilla marketing to turn into really big amplified marketing, and some good feedback, and maybe some conversion as well. So
Yeah.
Pretty cool effort. It's kind of a 2.0 from what we did in Argentina.
And we are live on Arena right now as we speak also. This is slightly off topic, but I have to ask because it's bugging me. Is Bridgerton like about a dog? What is Bridgerton? Because I feel like what's popping in my head is not the right thing.
It's the show for you, Bolon. You'll love it. It's real life, and that's all you have to know.
Okay, so it's not about an animated dog.
No.
I don't know what I'm thinking of then.
What are you thinking of?
I don't know, but clearly not the right. Clearly not the right thing.
Like Clifford? Is that what you're thinking?
No, not Clifford. I don't know.
It's like a super girly show. I'm just joking, but I don't know. I never watched Gossip Girl, but imagine it's like an old English Gossip Girl thing. I don't know. But go watch it. It's great. If you're going to the summit, it should be a prerequisite. You got to watch it.
All right. Well, Sunbear, get on it and report back to us.
Challenge accepted.
When you get back, we'll expect an AMA update on Avalanche Summit and on Bridgerton. Gonna hand it over actually to Hubert for the first of many times today. Actually, I guess it's the second time because I asked how you were doing, but whatever. To talk about Divine Essence updates.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, so a few different things with Divine Essence. There was one change that we made that's already been added to the slideshow we've shared about Divine Essence far in the past, which was just to make an adjustment to how many lesser attunement crystals you get. Before it was rounding up when it did the calculations. We're switching that to do a round down instead. So that's just going to be a little bit of a reduction of the number of attunement crystals that will come out of that system. And then we have another adjustment that is likely coming, but I just mentioned that that's there. But all this is really to just say, we're really just kind of finalizing everything with Divine Essence right now. It's getting pretty close to being releasable. Like we're still in the middle of testing things and verifying everything. But I would say you can take this as a within 1 month warning of it being released. Not gonna say specifically which week, but it's within 1 month. Could be 3 weeks, could be two. It's gonna all kind of depend on testing. So be on the lookout. You've been warned. If you have any heroes that just get a really bad level up, it's kind of a little bit of ways, but maybe it's worth waiting if you want to do a level reset. And then we also have plans for like a launch event for when that comes out as well, where people that participate that transcend heroes will be able to potentially get some rewards for that in addition to what you normally get.
Nice. Yeah, more info to come on the launch event. There was a question in chat, so I wanted to grab it real quick and clarify. So with rounding down, that means that there is not a guarantee for lesser attunement crystals in, like, if you burn, a level 1 hero, for example.
Right. Yeah. So it depends on the rarity of the hero, with how it's divided. But with the common heroes, you have to have at least 20 in a stat for it to give you a crystal. So level 1s often don't have that. So it would be possible to have some where you don't get any.
And also, just to clarify, so it's not using like standard rounding where it's like, 0.5 and above is 1. It has to actually equal 1 to get 1 or more,
Yes.
and so on.
Yeah, if like the math was like 1.9999, you'd get 1 is how that would end up being.
Perfect. That was a much better example. Thank you. Awesome. Real quick pause. That fight went incredibly fast. Winston, anything you would like to say?
Yeah, he just kind of knocked my seer off his block really early and kind of unexpectedly. I didn't think it would be that much of a hit, but there it was. So yeah, now we're heading back into this next game, and we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Looking forward to watching this one.
I didn't realize how distracting a dog that won't shut up would be. So it's not easy. It's not easy living my life.
It's fair. One last update, and then we will move into questions. On the tournament front, we will be queuing up the next week's worth of tournaments today after the AMA, so keep an eye out for those. We do not have any major changes planned for tournaments of this upcoming week, so we're going to be pretty much using the same format of this past week for the upcoming week, but keep an eye out. Those will be added in-game. Also, this next week is the last week that is on our calendar currently, so we will be queuing up another 4 weeks to put on the calendar as well, so keep an eye out for that also, but in the meantime, we'll get that last week put in game here shortly. All right, time to move into some questions. Our first one is going to Hubert. How does Osmotic Ward work when it comes to several instance damage spells like Repeating Arrow, and how should it work?
Yeah, so I think there's a little bit more in that question that's saying that with Repeating Shot or something, they've had Osmotic Ward be on and get hit and then they die, and it seems like they didn't get healed beforehand. Which, if that's what's happening, I did put in a bug ticket to check that out. It should be order of operation wise, like as soon as that ward breaks, that you get healed. But with the way the game is coded, there's probably something happening that makes that a little bit tricky, or maybe it's an easy fix. So we'll see. It might end up being something that's kind of a pain to resolve. So it may be this way for a little while, but I did put in a bug ticket just now when I saw that question. So
Which I will say, that question came from DFK Elite. DFK Elite or anyone else, if you have a replay where that happened, send it to me, please, because that way I can pass it on to Beetle for his investigations and make his life a little easier. So if anybody has a replay where that happened, shoot it over to me. Awesome. Let's see. Going into our next question, actually, I'm going to take asking about the docs, the updates that are kind of pending for Wizard and a couple other balance changes and all that. It is on our list. Unfortunately, it just takes time for us to get through that. The docs are open source, so if anybody wants to contribute, you can open GitHub requests and we can review them and then pull them in. So feel free if anybody is so inspired. Outside of that, yes, we know that there are some updates pending on them. We need to get to them. Most of the time, our docs are looked after by the good Dr. Zipper, and he has been hard at work on Divine Essence, so has not had as much time to take care of that yet, but it is on our list, and if anybody would like to contribute, please feel free. It is appreciated. Jumping back over to you, Hubert. Now that we have tournament restrictions about equipment, any thoughts on re-lowering the cooldown?
Yeah, now that we have that in there, I think that's something that we could probably consider. Don't really have an answer at the moment, but we can take that back and see what we decide.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Actually, I'm going to take this next one too. Will the Hyperion developments over at Metis help us in any way, or can we benefit from it with gas costs, transaction speeds, etc.? So that's actually something that we are talking to Metis about and how this all plays out. They're doing something with Hyperion that, as far as I know, I don't think has really been done, where Hyperion is a separate chain from Andromeda, which is what we're on, but the two chains are tied together and like feed back and forth. So we're learning about what they're doing and how we could potentially utilize that for the DFK side as well. So stay tuned on that front. Don't really have a great answer for you yet, but definitely something that we're staying on top of as they kind of figure everything out on their end as well. All right, back to you, Hubert. Any chance that we could make it to have an indication on the time bar for the Wizard Tier 5 skills that have variable AP spend to show where they will occur based on how much AP is being spent?
Let's see. So I assume that means when you're making your selection, not after you've. I guess we can even see it right there on that screen just now, but it just passed. Yeah, where you're making your selection there, and I guess just having it like it predicts the damage that you'll do, but also having it predict the amount of time it will take, I think would be a nice addition. We did have a request in there to do that. I just don't know how prioritized it is. So I would like that to be eventually something that's there. Once the selection is made, it will show you, when your next turn is for that hero on the time bar. So that you'll at least know at that point, but that's not as helpful, I understand. But yeah, otherwise, on that time bar there, it's every box is 10 ticks worth of time. So, but that's also kind of hard to yeah, I get it. It's something we would definitely be helpful to know, because unless you know your speed value and stuff, like there's some kind of calculation that you need to do to really know where you're going to end up if it doesn't show it. So I can see how much effort that'll be to kind of have that be a higher priority, but it might end up being something that takes a bit to be prioritized, I think.
Add it to the list. I feel like we haven't added anything to the list in a couple weeks, but that's okay.
I mean, that was already on the list, but yes.
I know, but it feels good to say it, we can't let Beetle's list get shorter. We have to make sure that we add at least as many things as he crosses off.
Yeah. One done, two on.
Exactly. This next question is kind of a two-part question, and I'm going to kick it off. But if anybody has anything they'd like to add, please feel free. Over the next couple years, are there plans to introduce more mini games like duels, or will we mainly focus on the primary PvE and PvP combat systems? And in terms of that longer term vision, are we aiming to become the leading crypto game, or is the focus more on building a broader ecosystem or unique player experience? So, talking about the first part first, our primary focus is much more likely to be on the main gameplay system itself. DFK Duels has been an amazing mini game that a lot of people have had a lot of fun with over the. I guess at this point it has been years, over the years. But it was also, meant as a mini game, and especially to kind of bridge the gap until we had more of our combat content, which we now have more combat content than we did back then, obviously. So, I'm not going to say that it isn't possible, but, our primary focus is going to be building the main portion of the game, because mini games still take time and resources, which we then aren't putting into the primary build. I will say outside of that, mini games are a great opportunity for community builders that, are looking for a project, something to have fun with. Make mini games. There's a lot of opportunity there as well. As far as the second part goes, I would say both. We are both aiming to become the leading crypto game and have a broader ecosystem and unique player experience, because I think that's how we continue to grow as a game. So obviously, we have a lot of a lot of foundational stuff built out at this point. But a lot of more content to go. And so as we continue to build that unique player experience, as we continue to have that broad ecosystem and build out that broad ecosystem, then yes, ideally, we also grow as a game and have a larger player base and everything that comes with it. So I guess that one I would say both. But yeah, anything anybody wants to add on any of those topics before I jump to the next question?
Maybe on the comment of biggest crypto game, or however it was phrased. Depends on your metric, but there are a lot of big games out there that either can boast number of users or downloads or something. Some even AAA studios that are doing some amazing work with awareness and kind of conditioning players to not be so afraid of the word wallet or token or NFT. However, there aren't a lot of games that have as much on-chain presence. You could even argue today we are one of the top crypto games as is. Now, if you define that with extra heavy weighting and focus on how tokenized the game is and utilizing the technology to incorporate unique markets that is applying the technology we have to the genres that have been live for decades, I'd say we are among the most progressed games. That doesn't always mean that everybody's playing it and everybody's buying it. I think we are still definitely in the development stage. We're just doing a live development with all of our founding players. But I look at a lot of games out there and I'm cheering them on, but sometimes I do take a step back and say, what is a Web3 game? And I think for a while there was a little bit of a debate about a month ago on Twitter on what that really is. And I would say anything that touches blockchain, I think, is considered a Web3 game, but it would be hard for something to be considered the biggest or the best Web3 game that doesn't really use the technology for anything more than tradable cosmetics, in my personal biased opinion. And we are looking to, pave the way and mark a place for DeFi Kingdoms and all its players and partners to see us as not just another game and of a metric, maybe the best game, but we kind of are on our own level. In our own genre that we hope to invite others to join us and lift us and them up rather than compete with them or push them down. But I would say when you compare DFK to other Web3 games, even some of the best ones with the most players and everything, it's just really hard. Sometimes it feels like apples to oranges and not quite comparable. So although we are focused on growing and enhancing our user base and our ecosystem, we do hope that folks will look at us as a top game. I think many do currently under certain metrics, and just be, I guess, a top game under more and more metrics, not only blockchain connectivity, but user base and experience and fun, and how we do esports, how we do events, how we build communities, and kind of an ideal launch pad for folks to build third-party mini games and third-party apps and dApps. And the first year we saw a lot of interest from others coming in. I hope that will return one day. But I would say, are we going to spend our primary resources building things that don't progress the primary narrative of the game and do other things like mini games? Probably not. I think Duelist is more of a step into the direction of learning what we can learn on matchmaking and competitive gameplay and things that we could do in the short term while combat was being prepared. Served a really great purpose. What other mini games can we think of? Maybe there'll be some that are a testing ground for other features, or maybe a lot of those games will be held for community builders or others in the future. But well, I'm sorry to like double the time on your response, but I did want to share. It's not, in my opinion, when we look at the landscape of Web3 gaming, it's kind of different per ecosystem and by chain and different metrics. Some people are doing some amazing things, and I think by certain metrics, especially the ones that matter most to Web3 gaming, we're always at or among the top on innovation and execution, and how good our code and like the indie delivery of DeFi Kingdoms gameplay has been.
For sure. And yeah, don't be sorry. It's a great addition. Let's see. This next question's a quick one. Should there be a button that removes all equipment from a hero? That is actually on our quality of life list already as well. So yes, that is something that we're intending to add. It was pointed out in Discord, so I feel like I have to point it out. Fastest way is just toss them in the pit. It automatically removes everything. Just burn them. But yes, a button to remove all equipment instead of one by one is on our list. Let's see. Jumping back over to Hubert. As the grant agreement to build for Metis has now been completed, any expectation on how frequently we can expect codex releases?
That sounds like a trick question to me. I mean, I can say that we are putting more focus on doing class implementation now that we're past all the PvP work that we had on contract. So I do expect, at least for the short term, to see a faster effort there. But yeah, I don't want to like say specifically a certain period of time. Some classes are harder to implement than others. Or like balancing. Though I do think as we've been making progress, a lot of the issues that we've had in implementing classes have just been like functionality is not there yet, like burn and chill or arcane power. Now we do have those things in place, and there's only a few more like kind of core missing features that are like going to kind of be like bigger roadblocks, and then the rest is just time spent to implement the skills and then balance around what we initially thought of so long ago, making sure it all makes sense. So yeah, anyway, so more focus there. We'll see how quickly we turn things around, though. I can't really say for sure on that.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Real quick pause because I got distracted and forgot. Winston, second
match. So second bout, managed to squeak that one out. It was more of a whooping too. I think that we kind of flipped roles in that second bout. So a lot of fun, always a good time. San Andreas is going to come up and bullish us at the end. There happens to be a skirmish going on right now, so I pulled that up, and we've got Mega fighting Zen Attitude, who, correct me if I'm wrong, is Karaket?
I believe that is correct, yeah.
Yeah, who I just noticed does not have the AMA past bout fighter man role, despite I'm pretty sure we fought in April So I'm just gonna let that hang, Bolon. I want you to think about that.
I wonder whose fault that is.
I'm not gonna blame anyone, dude. I'm
I
not
mean, I'm
blaming
looking at it
anyone.
right now. It looks like he has it, so I think it was operator error to think he didn't.
Okay. I probably just was reading it wrong. I probably just was reading it wrong. Okay, I see it now. That's gotta be
I
on
blame
me.
Discord. I blame Discord.
That's Discord and it's on me. So we got Mega fighting Karakat here. I'll jump to another one. Maybe I'll just open like 3 of them and jump through them, or I don't know, whatever. Yeah, but super fun. We'll have San Andreas jump on and bullish us at the end. So yeah, thanks, Bolon.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Let's see, going back over to Hubert, in I guess kind of a similar vein to the previous question, now that the PvP deal, the core build is finished, are resources shifting to more PvE content?
Another one. Yeah, I mean, we have several things kind of that we're cooking on. Some things are closer than others. There's definitely some of the things that I'm thinking of are PvE related. So I think, yeah, we could potentially be seeing more of that, but again, it's too early for me to commit to anything on that. Like, especially right now, we're mostly focusing on getting Divine Essence out, and then we have like the next class is also something that we're focusing on as well, and some other things too for combat. So I don't know. There's definitely coming. I don't want to say any time, no, any values of time though for when. So
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's important to note too, like, a lot of people are looking at a like divide between PvE and PvP, and in some cases that is correct, but there's also things that just benefit both. So we released Wizard a couple weeks ago. Wizard is usable in both PvE and PvP. Additional classes, pet bonuses, Divine Essence, like all of these are things that can be utilized to benefit both systems. So there's also some stuff that doesn't really fall into one versus the other. All right, let's see.
Real quick, sorry to butt in. It looks like Zen Attitude Karakat has yielded to Mega, and Crypto Pierre and DFT Dragonfly Tales are still going at it. And I'm pretty sure you lost to Mellow Fellow, and I don't remember what the other game is. So good luck to whoever the other game is.
I did lose to Mellow Fellow. We'll go with that. Let's see. Giving Hubert a little bit of a break and jumping over to Dreamer for a moment. Any update from the centralized exchanges that we had mentioned applying to?
Do you want to repeat that last update? Something that did you say you are a loser? What'd you say?
I did, yes.
Just joking. We all know you're good at multitasking, but not that good. Let's see. Centralized exchanges. We applied to a number. I think it's been a while now, 3 or 4 months. There was some news about application process and things. But yeah, not a response, not a rejection, not a follow up towards us. And there's no way really to follow up unless you are really sneaky and know people. We know some people, so maybe we'll try to follow up and see if our application was ever reviewed. I imagine they get a lot of applications, and I have no idea how they sift through them and prioritize in what way they respond. So sorry, not the best update, but yeah, that's how it goes. I know the exchanges are always looking for something sexy out there, and they were looking at memes for a while, and then that didn't go too well, and then they some did a narrative of trying to find OG projects out there that are quality and building blah blah blah, and we're like, oh, this is great, this is us, submit a application, but haven't heard back yet. See if we can follow up with people that we know, but there's just not clean ways to do it with these big guys, unfortunately. A little bit of a black box situation behind the curtain.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the update there. Jumping back over to Hubert for a few minutes. How have we determined the total stat limit restrictions for the stat limited tournaments?
Yeah, it kind of depends on which ones we're talking about. We do know what like the average stat growth is for heroes. And so like for some of them it was like, all right, let's look at the average stat growth of rare heroes and add a little bit more, and then set it based on that. In other cases, like we wanted to be closer to like common heroes in quality, so then we use that kind of as a baseline. In general, with those stat limits, though, it was kind of set up to not be at mythic tier. So if it was just I the hope was that we would just see some of the lesser powerful heroes being used for these. But I get with at least level 20 in particular, you may not have wanted to level up your common heroes there. So maybe with some of them were being a bit too restrictive. I'm not sure.
Nice. Yeah, something that we're always keeping an eye on. Speaking of tournaments, would it be possible to make it where the last people to join a tournament are given the first game? So essentially, the earlier you join, the better your chances of getting a bye if the tournament does not fill completely.
So yeah, really anything's possible, but I guess it's a question of like, is it worth the cost? With the tournament system, like it is a pretty complex and big set of contracts that we use, and there's one kind of pesky limitation that we have had to deal with a number of times in the past, and very often with these tournament contracts, which is that you can only have contracts the size of like 24.5 kilobytes. And a lot of those tournament contracts are like within 1 kilobyte of being maxed out, and we've had to like do tricks and things to just get the size down so that we could add something more without it like needing to be split into 2 contracts or something like that. It is always possible to split logic between multiple contracts, but that does introduce a lot of complexity, and also the gas cost for that goes up quite a bit. So like the code right now that decides who gets buys is it doesn't do any sort of prioritization based on like who came in first and who's the last. It just does random assignments of the entire list. That's done pretty efficiently. If we were to change it to be more like give priority to different, like based on where you show up in the list, like that will add probably at least like a kilobyte or 2 to the contract size. So, and that would then potentially increase like gas costs for everything if we have to split it. So anyway, it's just kind of a big technical answer, but it is something that we have to deal with a lot, and especially with the tournament contracts, like we're really reaching a point where there won't be too many more things that we can do to reduce the size, and we'll just have to start splitting contracts if we want to keep adding more to them. So I'm not sure that we're going to do it.
Awesome. Thank you for the clarification, sir. Since we changed weapons to use level instead of strength, what is strength used for, particularly on a caster?
So pretty much the same as every class, I guess, is that it's now block. So a higher strength caster would be better at blocking than a lower strength caster. But currently that's basically all. There's always the possibility that we introduce things in the future that like a weapon that will have some strength scaling on it, even for a caster for some reason. Maybe that would make sense as like a subclass equipment, something like that. So I could see there being things in the future for that, but yeah, I guess barring that, blocking is what it's used for.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. One last one for you at the moment. Will there? Do we anticipate there being weapons and armor in the future that do have stat requirements?
Probably not, just because the structure of equipment has kind of been pretty finalized. I mean, we could try to adjust things. We do have a little bit of spare space, but I don't see us using the spare space for stat requirements. Especially weapons, like those are packed pretty tightly. There's, again, this is a kind of a technical reason, but probably not. And also, I think, though, like what I just said before, like we could potentially be adding, like, you can have up to 3 different stat scalars on the spell or the attack of a weapon. So it wouldn't necessarily be like a requirement, but something where if we do add like a strength scalar, for example, to a mage weapon, it could become something that's, only useful for a certain niche of that type of class or that can use that weapon. But it could become like the best weapon for that niche kind of thing. So not really a requirement, but I think there are things we could do to kind of make it a little bit spicy for a certain type of hero in the future.
Very nice, very nice. Dreamer had to step away for just a second. He'll be back. Our last question is for him anyway. I was hoping actually he would be here for this as well, but I got to give a shout out to Dank Nation for figuring out what was in my head. And yes, I was confusing Bridgerton with Paddington. Why? Don't know. I've never seen either one, but every time Bridgerton was said, it was definitely Paddington that was popping in my head.
Isn't Paddington a bear though, and not a dog?
Apparently it is. I've never seen it. I don't know.
Well, if there's ever any questions about bears, I think you should ask me. Because I could have told you that Paddington's not a dog.
What do you think about Paddington? Give us the lowdown.
Oh, he's a very clever bear. Very clever. He's got his audience. Yeah. It's probably something Dreamer would watch, I'm guessing.
Aren't bears just really big dogs, though? I mean,
you're saying things that a Floridian would say, so I understand where you're coming from. We'll talk later. Could also be a raccoon. Who knows?
Around here, some of them, yeah, they're about the right size. Oh man, let's see. While we give Dreamer a second, Winston, you want to give us an update on where we're at in this tournament?
Sure, I'd love to. The Dragonfly Tales managed to knock Crypto Pier down, and now he's going to face off against Mega, who defeated Karakat. And we caught just the tail end of Lord, I don't know how the fuck do you say that? GMS? I'm going to say GMS. Of Lord GMS and T-Heat. GMS pulled it out. Mellow Merchant pretty obviously defeated the Vacant Bolon. And we're just waiting for those games to start. We got 6 minutes. We might see them. We might not. You know how it is. Maybe we'll see them. Maybe we won't. But these should be heated. I think they should be good games. Pretty well balanced. Looking at some of the heroes, they looked pretty serious.
So Winston, what are people doing that's been successful? What new strategies are you seeing? What are you learning from when you get destroyed? Like, what do you got for us?
I've refused to learn anything, so I haven't learned anything. I'll say that. But I don't know. I think that it seems like a lot of players looking at these. A lot of players are still using melee, and they're still using archers. Like they're trying to do physical damage. The wizard has not quite made its way as deeply into this group, but I think we had wizards in both of our AMA games, and I think my wizard did a really good job. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, it does seem like we're seeing more knights. We're seeing wizards. We're still seeing a lot of warriors. Warriors are beefy. Oh, no healers allowed. So we're not going to see. Who cares though? I don't even care about healers. So good. I should have joined this. Why would that discourage say more about that, Mello? Why would you not use a wizard if you can't have? I would want to use a wizard just to like crank the damage as quickly as possible. But I don't know. So feel free to respond to that. challenge from myself. But yeah, these look like they'll both be really good games. Still time to vote, so get in there. Not even at 1 million yet on either one. Or I mean, I guess it's almost 1 million total, but not 1 million on either side. Pretty exciting stuff.
Mello said it's because he likes to use shields with his wizard, but I think Zealous nailed it. He just likes his bouts to go long. But
It's true. We know that to be true.
But yeah, the protecting the wizard seems to be the main motivator there of having that added protection.
Cowards.
I mean, wizard makes its own barrier. Just saying. Hubert, we got to make that barrier bigger. That's really what's being said here, you know. I had to do it. I had to. The opportunity.
Can we please record that noise he just made and just randomly have a button to push whenever we need a.
Yeah, the Hubert growl. Yeah. All right, Dreamer is back. Before we go to this question for Dreamer, I feel the need to update him. Dreamer, chat figured it out. What I was thinking of was Paddington. I was mixing up Paddington with Bridgerton. Have you seen Paddington?
Paddington?
Yeah,
no.
I've never
like a Paw Patrol kind of thing.
It's apparently a kids movie with a CGI bear.
I don't know why y'all are lying and pretending you don't know what Paddington is. He's the bear he wears like the raincoat and the boots and the hat, and he goes on. I don't know if he goes on adventures.
How do you guys know more about this adventure bear than Bridgerton, which is like a grown-up show? It's not the coolest. There's no like murdering and
Winston seems very well versed in.
Let's get real here. Neither of these are grown-up shows. Like let's all step back into reality very quickly here, and you know, let's just try to stay here.
All right. Well, getting back on topic, I guess. Although I enjoyed this topic more, but we're gonna pass over.
Hold on, Mellow Fellow is sad he didn't get to fight you. Maybe you guys should remedy that.
That sounds unpleasant for me, but maybe we'll see. There's a reason that Winston does the AMA bouts and not me. We're gonna pass it over to Dreamer for our final question of the day. Can Dreamer give us one of his morale boosting hype talks on why he is still so bullish on the future of DFK?
Muting camera. Action.
We got the camera and everything. All right. I hope y'all are ready. Hang on. Can I do this? How do I? Nope. I don't want me. I want him. How do I make it bigger?
It's okay. I can stay small.
All right. There we go. That's the best I got.
I gotta back up. What was the question? Why am I bullish on DFK? Well, all the reasons I mentioned before have not changed. If anything, the gap continues to widen. You look at other stuff in the space, and honestly, to our benefit, the last 6 months seems to just bring a lot of fluff that ends up leaving people kind of unsatisfied and wanting more and looking for people in the space that are actually building real things. Well, we're here. We've been here, and we continue to add value to a vision that is long-term, and doing everything we can to deliver what everybody wants. More gameplay, easier experience for new players, partnerships and collaborations like with YGG GAP program and the Avalanche Battle Pass to bring players in and incentivize them in the ways that they feel comfortable, to condition them to learn all the hard stuff about the game so they can have fun. You know, the future is one that is definitely unwritten, but it's clear that every year that passes, no matter what happens, as we do what we try to do best and other people in the space do whatever the heck they're doing to get flash in the pan focus for a short time, I think it makes us look better. Whenever we have business conversations or meet somebody that has known about us but has never met us in person, there's nothing but compliments on what we're doing. And to me, when people that are like, I don't know, seeing a lot of fluff out there and they come across DeFi Kingdoms, they not only see the product as quality, but they can see that we are quality. And I think that usually speaks a lot. The people behind the project, the community behind the game, that really is the main indicator of how long it can last and what it can kind of grow to. And there's no question of our quality of people and delivery and build, even to the point where clients are coming to us and asking, hey, you guys did so well on your contracts, so much better than what we see in the space. Can we hire you to build what we are building? And so we are pursuing a little bit of consulting and advisory, especially to help the runway, always being creative on figuring out ways to keep the dream alive and make sure that not only the game is being built, but that our people being taken care of. There's something there. When we get together and do our best to build, that's one thing. When other people acknowledge it and kind of nod their heads and be like, oh yeah, it's good, it's another thing. But when they pursue us to see what we've done for DFK and what we might be able to do for their projects, I think that's a whole nother layer of credibility. So excited to pursue that and continue to have like a long-term focus and how to fund that long-term focus. But guys, we've laid the foundation. We see this like skeleton coming together of the game. I see a lot of the bones, maybe the fingers and toes and all the little bits of teeth aren't there, but the skeleton's there. And now we're adding a lot of meat to it. Wizard was a big hunk of flesh, and we got additional classes coming and some systems that have been in design for like a year or more. If you took a step back and thought what Divine Essence could do for the larger accounts and for min-maxing of competitive heroes and for people entering the space and seeing maybe a more bloated economy that could trim up a bit. And then as we scale that with new players or at least periodically returning players through systems like Gap and other like Battle Pass type approaches, I see quite a bit of reforming happening in this next phase where our players start converting to guild masters, and we start bringing people in with different focuses or at least renewed interest that they've had, and seeing not only have we never went away, but every month or year that folks might not have been paying attention to us, I think it just adds value to that reflection on DFK versus the rest. We're still years away from being like a complete normie looking at this and being like, ooh, easy to get into, long-term gameplay. I understand the technology, I'm all in. But there's a lot of in between happening right now where maybe some people are pulled in by a certain influencer or a meme or a game, AAA game on a console or something, and they want more. Takes time and takes a lot of work. We're doing that, but nothing has changed in terms of the approach and the bullishness on my side. PvP is now out, and as that is going to continue to do its thing through the various seasons and the reward structure we have there, I love that we can go and watch games and get people that can come on and just say, hey, can I just shoutcast your game on Arena like once a week? And would you guys support me? Yeah. As we're building, I guess I have to be careful, PvE systems in the background, there's a lot of creative ideas of saying, how do we take what we have and tweak some things to make the fun factor go up even higher? There's a lot of things that have worked and good feedback that we've received on, moving forward with the systems that we haven't really talked about yet, how to cater to some of the problems of maybe scalability or the user interface being easier to understand because there's so much in the game. And how do we really expose people and condition them to use it right? We need time for all of this, but we've shown that over time we do deliver, and that hasn't changed. That will not change as long as we can help it. And we're looking for partners that see and believe in that. Even in our most recent visit to Dubai, there are new chains and new partners looking to work with us. As we go to our oldest and strongest chain summit, there will be partners attending there. And we've been asked to attend some kind of pretty high level meetings with partners that they're looking to bring over. when we're used as a bargaining chip because of our success of a very small indie self-funded game, to win over people that have been in the gaming space for literally decades, how could you not be bullish on DeFi Kingdoms? We don't give up. We build good stuff. We have a vision that we stick to, and we're willing to adjust with the input of the market, of the community, influencers, and other players. So if any of you are bullish as well, I hope that you continue to play, but also continue to support others in Discord, especially new players coming in that are kind of lost. It's up to all of our players to help them feel not lost. And I think we do a great job at that. With a second round of Gap season coming up, there's another opportunity. Maybe players like this will be periodic joiners during their season, but while they're here, we hope that they feel welcome and see how we can, bring them into the fight and into our family building guild approach and into the fun aspect of DFK. So with all the reasons, none of them new, still bullish. I still look at the future as this skeleton that we've kind of getting close to completed. There's so much to add on top of it, that these systems are the base foundation to build a game where there's content in perpetuity, and there's players returning, and there's players discovering, ongoing, and maybe leaving and coming back for as long as we can keep it going. So I am bullish. I'm grateful for everybody here, and I'm grateful for that foundational skeleton and the patience of our team to work through a lot of the issues to make sure that what we put out not only is quality, but we can build upon it. And new classes, new PvE stuff, but also completely new systems that add to all the previous ones is the goal. And along the way, making it easier and more seamless to get in, while also just more fun for people to cover it in whichever way they want, whether they're playing, competing, shoutcasting, reviewing, or others. We have not missed a beat on the foundation. We need time to continue to build and grow, and are doing our best to get funding to give us that time that it'll take. So with that, Bolon, I'm back to you. I know I'm not supposed to give the big B word, but I gave a middle B word. Hopefully that was okay.
I think we can. I think we can forgive it. Yeah. Winston, I saw you. Yeah, there you go.
Yep, we got Paddington Bear. He's a bear who is just part of a little story, and I guess he's from Peru, or the darkest Peru. I don't really know what that means, but that's where he's from, according to the one piece of information we have about him.
I'm just saying he looks like a dog.
He does not look like a dog, but okay. It's a bear. He's standing up, for crying out loud. No comment, huh? All right.
One quick shout out. I'm gonna see. I know I've got the link here, so I just gotta find it real quick. But Zealous put together a PvP leaderboard that I then told him to drop the link, but YouTube's blocking the link. So here's the link. But take a look. It's pretty cool actually. It shows a bunch of different information. Shows win rates. Prizes earned, all that kinds of good stuff. So it's a really cool tool. Shout out for putting that together, and excited to have that available for everybody as well. I know it's also been linked in Discord, so you can find it there also. Outside of that, we're going to go into final thoughts and wrap up. I will just say, as always, thank you to everybody who has tuned in live, everybody who will tune in later, and everybody who will read the transcript once Winston makes it available. Special shout out to everyone who has submitted questions for us to answer. Please do keep them coming. AMA questions channel in Discord or talk.defykingdoms.com. Make sure you ask us what you want to know. We're here to answer. And thank you, as always, to everybody up here who has taken the time out of their day to be up here and answer all of these questions. Winston for fighting, as well as San Andreas for fighting, who we will hear from momentarily. We will go around the horn real quick for final thoughts. I know some people had some stuff that they wanted to talk about, so we'll give them all the opportunity. But first, Sunbear, because I feel like we have not heard from you as much. To answer that question, pretty much, yeah, I like really big and shaggy dogs. So kind of, yeah, they are bear sized.
They are bears.
Sunbear, any
Florida
final
bears. I just want to say I really like the skeleton metaphor and that Dreamer used, and that wizards are a big chunk of flesh on the skeleton that is DFK. I just can't get it out of my head. I feel like we need more skeletons everywhere in the game. So I'll make that call out. And I am extremely... No, I can't do that. That's right. Bridgerton. No. Happy to be here. Great to be a part of this, and hope you guys have a really great day.
Thank you, sir. Dreamer, I know you just gave us a whole speech, but if you have any additional final thoughts, feel free, and if not, no worries. You are still muted.
Oh, man. I have to say Bridgerton.
There you go.
I want to say I'm also very Bridgerton. Just joking. The Avalanche Summit is going to be awesome. Pinecone and Sunbear are going to be there. We gave an overview of what we're going to do, so I won't repeat it here. But in as much as we're doing anything on Arena, if you could go on and support, if there's anything posted, if you could help kind of amp it up, that'd be great. And if we get some of these influencers in Discord, please look out for them and berate them with welcome messages and offer to help and other things. This is going to be pretty cool because it's going to be the third or fourth time that we've had access to some of the influencers to see DFK. But now they're going to have vouchers in the wallet, and they're going to be purchasing assets and putting them to use. So a good opportunity to make sure that they feel that warm welcome, and also just be supporting Sunbear and Pinecone as they're out there fighting the good fight. This is the one time I don't have to travel a bunch of hours to go and do it, as I just came back from Dubai, and I'm looking like I might have support to go to Vegas here in the next couple of weeks. So big shout out to them, and I hope that we find some good leads and make some good traction. But I think our community could help a ton, and if the influencers do something, they try something out, and they see people welcome them, and they go, "Wow, the DFK community is incredible." It really means a lot. It's been said in the past when things have lined up, and I think it's really meaningful to others that hear that, because sometimes people hop in games and the community is not great, or there is no real reaction. If people don't, a lot of these guys are divas. If there's no real reaction or response, they're like, well, I guess they don't, they don't really want me here. So I would say we'll look out for that. We'll try to inform everybody, but we'll try to welcome, influencer or not, the new people testing, demoing, and hopping in the game.
Show them some love. Hubert, any final thoughts?
Dreamer said a whole bunch of things, so I don't want to detract from that too much. I'll just just give a little bit of behind the scenes info on like what we've been doing recently. Our art team already has the VFX for one class completely done. They're starting to work on the VFX for a second class. They've done a lot of work on some PvE content that we're planning on. And then we just barely put pet combat bonuses into testing as well. So that is moving forward also. Plus everything we've mentioned before with Divine Essence. And we also have durability kind of coming up on the wings behind that as well. But that's still a little bit further out. So we have quite a bit that we've been cooking on for a while we've been, working on tournaments. Like we do multiple things at once. And some of these threads kind of take a long time, like Divine Essence. But there are, a lot of things kind of coming together right now. And it makes me really excited for what we have coming in the future. So I just wanted to share that. Hopefully that gets some of you guys excited. And I'll pass it back to you, Bolon.
Very nice. Thank you, sir. Winston, over to you for any final thoughts of your own and to introduce our special guest of the week.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Bolon. I thought I would, instead of spending my time with thoughts, I would just show you guys what Bridgerton actually looks like. Got a couple stills from the show here. So if this is like kind of what you're look at her. My word. If this is like what you're into, you know, you can check out Bridgerton. Don't check it out. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. San Andreas, thanks for fighting me. Let's get you unmuted, and your time will start when you start talking.
Hang on, I feel like we gotta give Dreamer a chance to respond to this.
Can we please call it Dreamerton?
Hold on, I'm gonna put the picture. I'm gonna put the picture back up while you respond. My word. So, all right, go ahead and respond.
I have no response.
Thank you.
I was just gonna let you slink off into the shadows. but
Always
roll on.
fun to fight you. Love the new wizard abilities, are super fun, and I hope to see the new classes and the new metas. And Dreamer was a great speech, and we know you are working, and always grateful for that. And for that and all, we still bullish.
Bullish.
Bullish!
Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week.
DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.